Sometimes when we start our journeys in life, we have no idea where we'll end up. And in other instances, we end up in places we've been before. Today, we'll meet two folks whose lives took them on paths that they would have never imagined. And we'll also go back and meet with somebody that you and I have met in the past. So why don't you hop in and travel with me? My name is JB Salceda, and this is Texas Country Reporter.
Going fishing, the fish is a bonus. Being out there with that sunrise and the sun coming up and the birds and all the, you just take it all in. Going across the lake early morning, got a little fog, you got a little low clouds, whatever, and that sun starts peeking up a little bit and you find a big school of them crappie. There ain't nothing like it, man.
As the shadowed sun peeks through the clouds to dance upon a rippling, rhythmic pond, a humming motor alerts these waters that Wally Marshall has clocked in for work. Weekend anglers can only dream of making a living like he gets to, reeling in the solace of a spring with each strike of seafood.
There he is. There he is. A stud.
Wally wasn't always cast in this role, however, and improbable as it may sound, his life story is no fishtail.
Crappie fishing just keeps on giving, brother.
He used to be an ordinary guy, a plumber, who never knew a future in fishing was just around the bend.
When I was in those ditches, digging, working, and making a living, just carving out a living, you wasn't thinking about that, Kapowie! Smile for the camera, Crappie. That thump, once you feel that thump, you'll never forget it. Boom. Sweetheart, I'm gonna turn you back.
Now the name Wally Marshall might not ring a bell to those who can't find serenity knee-deep in a fish-filled pond. But for those who have bitten the bait, there are few names that are spoken with as much reverence as Mr. Crappie's. With his own line of rods, reels, lures, and line, Wally has made a name for himself under the moniker he coined when he first snagged a deal with Bass Pro Shops. And his recent induction into the Texas Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame emphasizes the weight his impact has had on the world of fishing.
So one day I was going to Anna. This lady goes, "Hey, you Wally Marshall?" I go, "Yes, ma'am." And I heard a bunch of people in the back cheering and everything go, "This is so-and-so from the Texas Freshwater Fisheries Selection Committee. You have been selected to be our 2023 nominee for the Texas Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame." The only time in my life I was speechless. I had to pull over. Tears running down my eye, being in the Hall of Fame. It just sums it up. It sums up the whole Mr. Crappie deal, the whole Wally Marshall deal, of all the people that I met over the years and the people that I've impacted and brought to fishing. And I'm proud to be a representative and be in only 38 people have this award. I'm just busting at the seams right now, wanting to go fishing.
With each crappie Wally caught on our fishing trip,
There you go, sweetheart. About a pound fish. Let's get back in there and get another.
it became increasingly evident that his success was not only well-earned, but well-deserved. However, none of this would have happened if it weren't for a little bit of luck and a chance encounter nearly 40 years ago.
Get my lure back. Hello down there. In 1987, while I was at the school district for 2 years, there was a tournament that came to Texas called Crappie-thon. I had 20 fish in a hefty trash bag, and we was in first. And they go, you're gonna have to go take a polygraph test. When the polygraph was over, he goes, well, we got a problem. I just sunk. I was like, a problem? He goes, yeah, we got a new winner. I go, who is it? He goes, you dummy. And I'm like, really? Well, there was 2 guys there at the tournament. They come up to me and said, hey man, would you like to be like an ambassador or a field test guy for our companies? And so from then on, it didn't matter what fishing event there was, I always went to it, 7 years before I left the school district, Bass Pro had called and said, hey, would you be interested in designing crappie rods for Bass Pro Shop?
Even though it's been nearly 4 decades since that fateful day, Wally is still waiting for the day he wakes up from this dream and gets out of bed for another shift under the sink. For this very reason, though, he understands more than most the significance of connecting with the community. Whether it's at his annual fish fry at the Crappie Expo or his seminars across the states, Mr. Crappie chums the waters with success for fishing fanatics everywhere. But more importantly, with every line cast and every crappie caught.
You got him? Come on with him. Way to go, man. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. Ooh.
Wally Marshall emphasizes the importance of never letting go of what you love.
Come on with him. I really enjoy what I'm doing.
Why?
Because I can go fishing on days that end in Y. I can go any day, every day.
If you could go back in time and have a conversation with that young man with the big trash bag full of fish and tell him that that moment was going to lead to him being this well-known.
I wouldn't have believed it.
No.
I just couldn't, because when I was in those ditches digging pipelines and installing plumbing, and you wasn't thinking about that.
That was fun.
But I'd tell that guy, reach for the stars.
It's a good day. I like
Had a
it.
hell of a day, brother.
Yeah, I like it.
I would keep you out here, but I don't want you sore lipping all my fish. No, I'm just kidding.
Out on the Texas plains was an old camp cook one day. He was trying to make some bread, but his flour kept blowing away.
20 years ago, while venturing through Fort Davis, we followed the smooth voice of a Wainwright echoing off the mountains. The music led us into Glenn Moreland's backyard, where he was performing for the attendees of the Texas Cowboy Outfitters, chowing down on cobbler straight from a chuck
The
wagon.
wind blows in the spring. Thank you.
These days, Glenn Moreland leads a quieter life and rarely feeds the flocks of people wanting to relish in the taste of bygone days. But the rhythmic hammering of a different instrument on his great-grandfather's anvil still sings out from the workshop where we first met him.
Where did you learn to do all of this?
I bought a wagon as running gear, wheels and stuff, when I was a cattle inspector, and I didn't know anybody that fixed wheels. Need some wheel work done, so my great-grandfather was a wheelwright. And so my dad remembered a little bit about what they did. Between he and I, we took it apart and hand carved some spokes and put it back together. And about 30 years ago, we made it full-time business, just a wagon, cooking.
Imagine it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, just grit your teeth and say a few words and go back to work.
They words that you can say on TV?
No.
Out on the American frontier in the 1800s, the booming cattle industry left trail bosses yearning for more efficient transport. Among these cattlemen was the famed Charles Goodnight, who crafted up the perfect solution: A wagon equipped with a chuck box to store cooking necessities, a drop-down table big enough to prepare food, and a barrel to stow fresh water.
He wanted a wagon that could haul all the supplies for the trail drive when they're driving cattle. And before that, they would use mules to haul all the supplies on, but it's time-consuming and you couldn't haul as much on the mules. So the chuck wagon was a great invention. And now it's the national vehicle of Texas.
For decades after its creation, Goodnight's chuck wagon became an indispensable fixture for those lengthy cattle drives. But over time, it transcended its role as a mere mobile kitchen. It evolved into a sanctuary where weary cowboys could gather to share meals, stories, and songs with one another. This cherished tradition is kept alive by Glenn Moreland and other cowboy enthusiasts like his son Doug, who continue to honor the spirit of the chuck wagon at every competition or gathering that they attend.
In the lobby of an old hotel in New York town one day. At the end of the day, they would always be telling stories about their events of the day. We would be 2 or 3 guitars and maybe a banjo player and bass player, play country music, cowboy songs, whatever. Everybody had their own little, what they wanted to play. And people gather around and listen. And I'd like to be in Texas when the roundup in the spring.
It's now been 30 years since Glenn Moreland embraced the life of a Wainwright, and thankfully, time has been kinder to him than to the old chuck wagons he services. Though he still finds himself in the shop every day, working more hours than most, he knows one day his hammer will fall silent forever. Yet as the years continue to roll on, Glenn finds solace in knowing that this vital piece of history will continue to withstand the test of time, thanks to the passion of today's cowboys.
It'll never die. It's always people, it's in their heart. Just like music or Western, it's gonna stay with them forever and it'll be passed on, but I just hate to see a wagon parked out in the yard and rot. So, I wanna see them be preserved. I'd like to be in Texas when the roundup in the spring. I'd like to be in Texas when the roundup in the spring.
You always want to see the people that you love happy. You always want to see the people you love stay healthy. You want to see the people you love getting fed. So food to me, it's love. It's also an embodiment of where I come from.
Connie Nguyen's story takes her from Vietnam as a little girl, to California as an immigrant, to Pharr, Texas as a chef and business owner. And all of those influences combine at one of the most unique places in the Rio Grande Valley. The Vietnamese food is already rare here, and then Snowbite restaurant combines popular flavors from the RGV into Southeast Asian specialties, like a hot Cheeto Korean corn dog.
This is how I know this is Valley, because my wife, her fingers would just be dyed red from eating hot Cheetos. It was like all she ate for lunch in high school.
So every little dish that we introduce to our community is somewhat tied into our story. If you eat this, you'll think of me.
Connie opened Snowbite in 2013 as an Asian dessert shop, but other than the name, almost everything about her place has changed. They've moved to a bigger spot, and now desserts are just one small section of a huge menu, one that Connie couldn't wait to share with us.
I'm blown away at how much food is here. Where do you think I should start?
Tostada?
Okay, tostada.
Let's dig in.
I'm 100% gonna make a mess.
Our house fusion chicken tostada. The bottom is the wonton shell, And then we drizzle our house spicy made mayo. Then we added the sauteed chicken, then top it up with some fresh vegetables.
Man, this is delicious.
Now we can go into something more fun, messy, crunchy, but bursts out of flavor for you.
Okay.
It's gonna be the Korean corn dog, and we made it the 956 version, which we added the hot Cheetos.
When I saw this and you told me that it was covered in hot Cheetos, two words came to my mind, or two terms, Budo 956. Like this is totally Rio Grande Valley. Whoa.
You're gonna fail the cheese pool challenge. Maybe.
I would not be a food model.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.
From fried rice to sriracha chicken wings to beef with tripe, Snowbite's menu strikes a delicious balance between classic Asian food and fun, modern fusions. Connie is big on serving her community, and that takes on a whole new meaning in Snowbite's Pay It Forward board. Customers prepay a meal ticket, and then anyone in need, no questions asked, can grab that ticket and eat for free.
Why was that so important for you to include here?
Because I remember back in the old days where like we didn't even have enough rice to eat in our home, but my mom would give it out, you know, to our neighbors, to the people in the village, to the poor, and we end up like drinking porridge as our main meal while we're giving grain to other people. You know, my mom said, you know what? That's a blessing that you're able to do that. It's always better to be the giver than the receiver.
Connie's family is never far from her mind or the restaurant. They come in often and share big family feasts. Each meal is like a celebration of how far they've come as immigrants, from political oppression and poverty in Vietnam to freedom and abundance in America.
My dad used to be, you know, a Vietnam veteran. After our country got taken over by the communists, my dad was prisoned for like 10 years. When they come over, they took everything away from us. Our family of 9 came to the United States in January of 1994. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 queen bed. But here we are today, you know, all of us are growing, all of us are alive, strong, healthy. When we first opened Snowbite, we didn't have much customer. And my family will come and eat multiple times a day, multiple times a week, you know, just to make sure we make some sales to stay sustained. And then they will go in and help me with doing the dishes, helping me with the prep. You know, it's just like I'm their baby, you know, and my kid is like my baby. And I just feel very blessed overall in this journey, and I'm just a very lucky person. I just know that I can't take it for granted, you know. And like being where I was, coming into America, this is like people sacrifice for my freedom, you know. It's like I come into a country that they fight for my freedom. I have freedom of speech, freedom of religions. You know, it's giving me a second chance at life, and I can't take that for granted. You know, I know that there's many, many more people that wish that they can be in my place right now, that they're struggling to get here.
With every 12-hour shift, Connie Nguyen works hard to make the most of her opportunities. Her food is her love for family, community, and a new home. And after she shared her food with us, we left stuffed with generosity, gratitude, and hearts as full as our bellies.
You know, I take a lot of pride in where I'm at today, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity I have here. You know, there's many times I declare that I am living the American dream. You know, my parents give up their dreams to bring all of us here, and the process for them, it's not easy. You know, it's a lot of heartbreaking, a lot of sacrifice. And you know, the best thing about it is if you believe in yourself, if you work hard, if you stay consistent, persistent, and that, you know, there's an opportunity for you to grow. You know, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, when you're in America, you're in your home. This is something that we take pride in. It's that, you know, we came from nothing and we're able to create a dream and a living for ourselves.
I first met Glenn Moreland years ago when I photographed him for an exhibit at the Chisholm Trail Museum in Cuero, Texas, and I'm thankful for this opportunity to reconnect with him, and hopefully you felt the same way. And I look forward to next week, and I hope you'll hop in and travel with me as we continue on this journey down the back roads of Texas. My name is JB Salceda, and this is Texas Country Reporter.